Hello, good evening, everyone.
Hi.
Hello, good to be back. Apologies about last week. Sorry that I wasn't able to make it. You can see the love that I'm feeling for everyone in the background. Okay, just letting a few people in. And good evening and welcome to Sharon and Robert and Janina and Lucille and Belinda all the way from South Africa, I believe. And to Grant, hi, Mum, Anthony, Melissa, and then we've got Tavora as well. Okay. Let me just see. Right. You can all see and hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
fantastic. Right. So I think we are in the middle of the chapter 6. Is that right?
The root of evil.
Yes. Page
Yeah.
65. Is that right?
I don't think we got that far.
I think at the bottom when we were talking about the staff.
Yeah, we finished, underneath the asterisk. We got up to there.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, right. So it's a fascinating
Yeah.
ending to this chapter. Okay, so I'm very excited to do this
Yeah.
together. And it's also, we're going to see, it's very appropriate to this time of year as well. So we asked lots
Yeah.
of questions, as is wont to happen at the beginning of a Jewish shir, and we've left a lot of them unanswered. So some of the main question, really, essentially, that we had is why and what, or not why, but what is the way and the mechanism in which there is evil in this world, because we can understand why and what the point of it is, because we need to have challenges in our lives. But the question that he has is that if God is so good and everything that Hashem does is good, then how could it be that there's this evil which manifests itself in the world? Where does this come from? Now, we then went on a sort of tangent a little bit, and we spoke about the mateh, the staff, which Moshe Rabbeinu does all of the nisim, all the wonderful miracles with, and also it's this staff which turns into a snake as well. And there seems to be this duality that on the one hand, the staff is a mechanism for coming closer to Hashem, doing miracles, but on the other hand, it's also something which can turn into a snake, and it's used as punishment. It's got the names of the 10 plagues engraved upon them as well. So it also has this sort of duality. Okay, so let's continue. Sorry, and the last part, which is very important, is that he spoke about the fact that the world itself is a bit of a smokescreen, because the world can obscure its creator. The world which is created by Hashem, strangely enough, can itself be that which obscures and hides the creator. And he likens it to where there's a road, and if it's as long as it's straight, then you can still see the way back on the road. You can always see where you came from. You can always see the source of everything. As soon as you go around a corner, when you turn that corner, then you can no longer see where it is that you came from. And therefore, he said that the purpose of something which is a zikaron, is something which is to remember something, is in order to bring us back to that original point. When we talk about remembering something, it's not just something which is a quaint kind of like trip down memory lane, but rather it's something which actually brings us back to the point of origin. And therefore, when we speak about things that we need to remember in Judaism, zikaron means that it gets us back to that straightness. It straightens the road so that we can see where we came from. Now, let's continue. Bottom page 65. Now let us return to the mateh. The mystical source we referred to earlier explains that the word mateh, a staff, is from the root which means to bend, nata, or to tend in a particular direction or stretch out from the source. No teshamayim, he extends the heavens. In fact, the staff is really a branch, that which branches, bends away from the trunk. Meaning this staff, the duality within this staff is because the staff can either be something which bends away, and if you like, is turning the corner, or it can be something which is the straight road. It can be something which is an extension and goes straight from the source. He continues, that's why the word mateh in Hebrew means a staff and also a tribe. The 12 tribes are a branch of their father Yaakov. His centrality and oneness splits into 12 different directions in his sons. This observation is no accident. The other Hebrew word for a staff is shevet, and this word too means a tribe. So therefore, a staff and a tribe are essentially the same thing in that they are a branch of something. So the mateh somehow stands at the junction between heaven and earth. It's located at the point where the straight bends. It is, in fact, an agent of creation, poised to reveal the straight, bright line of Hashem's presence in the world. It's the immediate agent of miracles. When it appears, the world obeys. So when the staff is doing those miracles, that means the staff is operating in such a way that it's revealing God in the world. And it's the straightness is an extension of heaven. But it is also ready to manifest as the reflection of all evil. Its natural place is in the human hand, the hand of Adam at the time of creation, the hand of Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, Yosef, Moshe Rabbeinu. Remember, we spoke about the Medrash, which talks about the journey that the staff has till it gets to Egypt in Moshe's hands. In these hands, in the holy hands, it is pure sapphire, clear mastery of the world, but cast to the earth, or in deeper terms, brought low, close to dark physicality, it becomes pure terror. That's when the staff turns into a snake, which means if the staff is not wielded by the right person or in the correct way, then the staff becomes something that rather than reveal God, it obscures God. It becomes the snake, which refers back to the time of the Gan Eden, to the time when the snake is the one that drives away, that is the evil inclination. And its correction, pick it up by the tail, treat it as if it were a matter, as if it were a staff. Relate to it while yet done with terror, as it should have been held all along, meaning hold it and wield it as it should have been. Then and only then, after it has been thus conquered, does it reveal its true identity and its sanctity. It is in reality a matter, and yet the serpent was no illusion. That's why when Moshe comes to Egypt, he's bringing them a snake. He's not bringing them magic. They've got magic already, and he's not here to show them a magic trick. He is demonstrating that the matter symbolizes the way that we use this world. Pick it up and hold it in the hand of a Moshe Rabbeinu, and it's the holiest thing ever. It's a direct extension of God, and it's the clearest manifestation of his will that could ever exist. That's what the 10 plagues were. That's what the splitting of the sea were. It was a clarity, an unparalleled clarity of God's existence right down here on earth. But throw it to the ground. Throw it to the lowest level of that physicality, and then it's a snake. It's something that is taking us away from God. It's something which is seducing us to go against our Creator. It's the very same thing. It just depends how we wield it. Actually, tonight, just to share, I made a siyum on basar b'cholov, the halachas of meat and milk. Now, it's not the first time I've learned them, just in case you were worried about it. I have learned them previously in part of my smicha, but I did a chazara, I did a revision of the whole thing, which took me a reasonable amount of time to do. And we decided we make a siyum at home, and we all sat round tonight, and Tila cooked us a lovely meal, and it was really, really nice. It was very special. So I said to the kids, a halacha, which you find in basar b'cholov in meat and milk, which is the following. A Jewish child is not supposed to feed from a non-Jewish mother. Okay, meaning the milk, right? We're not talking about, feeding with a spoon. But the Jewish child is not supposed to feed from a non-Jewish mother. And it's brought down as a halacha in Shulchan Aruch. And the source for that is because famously Moshe Rabbeinu, when he is a baby, he's taken to the Egyptian women to feed, and he refuses to feed. Until in the end, Miriam says to the daughter of Paro, says to Basia, let me take him to one of the Ivrim, one of the Jewish women, and she actually takes him in the end to his mother, and he feeds from his mother. So we see there that just like Moshe Rabbeinu, who was going to speak to the Shekhinah, he was the mouth who was Osid, the Daber, the pair who was going the mouth who was going to speak to the Shekhinah, he shouldn't feed from a non-Jewish lady. That's why he refused. So therefore, says the Ramah, we bring this down in Shulchan Aruch, that a Jewish child should be fed by a Jewish mother, even if it's a wet nurse, not his own mother, etc. Jewish child should be fed by a Jewish mother. And all the commentators ask, I don't understand. Moshe Rabbeinu was Moshe Rabbeinu. He was going to speak to the Shekhinah. He was going to receive the Torah. He was going to be on Mount Sinai, and he was going to go up there, and God was going to speak to him directly. But every Jewish child, and men, women, and child who open the Shulchan Aruch, open the code of Jewish law, why is this applicable to them? What has this got to do with everyone else? This is not, we're not Moshe Rabbeinu. And the answer that's given is beautiful, as simple as it is beautiful, which is, it's not true. Every Jewish person has to know that we have the ability to speak to the Shekhinah as well. Every Jewish child has to know that we have the ability to be as great as Moshe Rabbeinu. And our mouth we have to be careful what we put in our mouth, because we could be the one that one day is the future leader of the Jewish people. It's all about how we use the physicality that we have, how we take the opportunities that come our way in our life, how we wield them, as in the staff, as in the matter. And when we do that, we can make our lives an extension of Shamayim. There's no such thing as a Jewish child that's born that doesn't have the potential to do that. Every single Jewish child, therefore, the same way that Moshe Rabbeinu couldn't feed from a non-Jewish mother, so we say to every Jewish child exactly the same thing. You also have the ability to take this physicality that you have in your world and to wield it in a way that is going to show Hashem just like Moshe Rabbeinu did. Let's continue the bottom page 66. That is the secret of the matter, the staff. That's its mysterious duality. Let us now apply this understanding to the events we struggled to fathom earlier. At the burning bush, while facing the ultimate reality directly, Moshe is taught the lesson of the matter. He's taught about the staff. Armed with the tool he needs, the consummate control of reality, when it's grasped in Kedusha, right? Meaning when he's holding onto the staff, he is able to control reality, because that's what the staff did. It made the plagues. He enters Egypt, which is the domain of evil. The Jewish people are enslaved in Egypt. In deeper terms, they are oppressed by the forces of evil. That is why they are there, to become a people that is holy by breaking out of the dimension of impurity. Their leader, Moshe, must face the king of evil, Paro, in the ultimate showdown. This is no cheap magic context, no attempt to prove whose sorcery is stronger. That's not Torah. It's not about a magic show. It is a dialogue between good and evil at the highest level. Good must conquer evil at that level, at the formation of the Jewish people, and it is enshrined in a parasha in the Torah. Paro denies knowledge of Hashem, of course. Moshe demonstrates, Paro, what you're doing is misrepresenting reality. You're transforming the matter of the world into the primal nachash, into the serpent. Meaning that's the message he's delivering to Paro. He's showing Paro that you are the one who's taking this reality that we have, and instead of it being an extension, instead of it being something which is an extension of reality, this actually now is something which obscures reality. And Paro, that's what you're doing. Paro's response, that is our business. That's what we're doing. That's what Egypt is. That is what we teach it. His wife does the same. The children do the same. All of Egypt is intrinsically dedicated to perverting the spiritual truth into unholiness. You are bringing produce to an overstocked market. No simple witty remark, but a statement of Egypt's manifesto. And Moshe's reply, of course, I must bring my produce here, because here is where the experts should recognize quality. Here is the very place, the only place, to distinguish between the tricky, shimmering facets of perception of good and evil. An iron staff swallows up all the others. Good and holiness will engulf evil eventually. So again, as we said before, the conversation that's taking place is, what do we stand for? Moshe Rabbeinu says we stand for the fact that there is a staff, that there is an extension of heaven that we can wield in this world. Paro says, what are you talking about? We are the opposite in Egypt. You're bringing this to a place we turn the staff into snakes. That is what we do. That's what everyone does in Egypt. That is the way that we relate to this reality, for it to be something which seduces us and turns us away from God. And then the amazing ending to this is, what is it that swallows up all of the staffs? It's not the snake that swallows up the staffs, but rather the staff swallows up the other staffs, because the staff symbolizes the extension. The staff symbolizes the straight road through which you can actually see Hashem in the world. So he continues, and of course it swallows them after revealing itself as a mater, after it's a staff, not a serpent. That is the point. It is the reality of correct perception, of remaining true to the source of the world, that will conquer the vicious falsehood of evil. And that's exactly why it's not the snake of...
You disappeared. Rabbi, your voice has got coming through.
Hello, we can't hear you. Hello?
Oh, you've muted yourself.
Yes,
Yeah, you muted yourself.
you've gone silent.
Hello? Still can't hear you. can just see your lips moving.
You're like Hannah. Your lips are moving, but no sound is coming out.
Is that better?
Ah,
Yeah, that's it. Perfect.
So where do we go back to? The beginning? Just the last part. Okay, so just the last part. Okay.
you just got to the bit where the staff swallowed up all the others.
Okay. The idea being that the staff specifically swallows up the others, not the snake, because the snake is not Hashem in the world. The snake is the opposite, whereas the staff is the extension of Hashem. It's the direct line to Hashem, and that is what it's the emes. The truth always overcomes evil. The light of truth always overcomes evil. I forget who it was, but in the Holocaust, when the Nazis, Yimach Shemam, were beating the Jews, and one of the Jews turned to one of the Nazis and he smiled and he says, "Why are you smiling? Why are you smiling?" He says, "Because I'd rather be the ones who are being beaten than the ones who are doing the beating." Even in the darkest moment, just knowing that what you're doing is emes, what you're doing is truth, what you stand for is real and is true, that can push away all of the darkness. Just that knowledge alone. So similarly, the staff, which is the extension of God, which is bringing down the spiritual into the world, however much darkness there is, we can be confident because that's what we have. And that's what it was showing in Egypt. It consumed the Egyptians' staffs. Just to finish off, the business of evil is to dash the matter to earth and cause it to manifest as a nachash, a snake. Our business is to hold it aloft and reveal it as the matter, the staff. It's not easy. Once the road is forked, one may be genuinely lost. Fighting home may take all we have. But that moment of transformation of the self, that point of snapping out of a terrifying ordeal into the transcendent clarity of victory is what life is all about. And that is why we are here. Relevance to this time of year is because next Shabbos, we're going to have Shabbos Zachor. The Shabbos when we remember what Amalek did to us, commandment of Hashem to wipe out their memory. Remember this, just keep it in mind, what we learned. A zechira, a remembrance, means we're connecting 2 points in time to a straight line. We're saying that our existence here should be something which illuminates the spiritual connection to what took place then. And Shabbos Zachor, therefore, is not just reminding us of what took place, of a historical battle that took place between the Jews and Amalek, but rather it's saying, remember what they stood for. Remember that they stood to hide God, to push God out of the picture. Remember what the Jewish people stood for at the time. Make that straight line so that our reality reflects, or is a continuation, even in a straight line, of that source of where it came from. We will stop there, and well done for finishing chapter 6.